Hi everyone, this is lesson 4.1, Radian and degree conversions. In this short lesson we're going to convert from degrees to radians and from radians back to degrees. And so we're just going to go over the this basic thing. Okay, so we know from previous lessons that we have pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. Pi radians are 180 degrees. And if we play with this a little bit, we can also say that 1 radian divided through by pi is going to be equal to 180 over pi degrees. And also, we can say that 1 degree, if we divide through by 180, is going to equal pi over 180 radians. So pi over 180 radians. And so these two things, the 180 over pi and the pi over 180, are the units of conversion that we're going to use to convert from radians to degrees and degrees to radians. Okay. Okay, so say for instance we have an angle that is 30 degrees. And I want to convert that to radians. So I'm going to go from degrees to radians. Okay? So what I'm going to use is the conversion, right? I have 30 degrees, and I'm going to use the conversion that gives me radians over degrees. And the reason I want to do that is because the units then will cancel. So I look back before, and the radians over degrees was the pi radians over 180 degrees. All right? So then as I do this, I'm going to have 30 over 180 pi. And if you reduce, that's going to reduce down to pi over 6 radians. Okay, so 30 degrees is going to be equal to pi over 6 radians. Let's try another one. Let's try 45 degrees. 45 degrees. All right, so I'm going to multiply that by pi over 180 because I want the degrees to cancel. And so I will have 45 pi divided by 180. And when I reduce that, that's going to reduce down to pi over 4. And that would be in radians. Okay, so that's going from degrees to radians. Now, if I want to go from radians to degrees, then I would start with radians. So say I have pi over 3 radians. Pi over 3 radians. All right. Then I want to use the conversion that has radians, degrees over radians, because I want the radians to cancel out. Okay. So that's going to be 180 over pi, because 180 is degrees and pi are radians. All right. So if I have pi over 3 times 180 over pi, you can see that the pi's cancel, and I'm left with 180 over 3, which is 60 degrees. So pi over 3 radians is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, so if I do something a little similar, if I have, say, 5 pi over 6 and multiply by 180 over pi, because once again I'm doing degrees over radians, and this is in radians, right? So the radians cancel, I'm left with degrees. Then the pi's cancel, and I'm going to be left with, and notice here that 6 goes into 180 how many times? Well, that's 30. 5 times 30 is 150 degrees. Now I can do that mathematically because there's a times between them. If there was a plus, I can't do that, but I sure can do that. Alright, so this gives you some examples. On the next screen, I'm going to give you a couple of problems for you to copy down and to practice on your own, and then we will look at this in class tomorrow. Okay, here are the 6 problems that I want you to work out on your paper as part of your notes to convert this, and then we'll look at this again in class. Thanks.